Hello, Podheads, and welcome back to another episode of Over My Dead Pod. I am your host today, Holly Lamoureux. Wow, I stuttered with that.
Did you forget your last name?
I did, yes, I always do.
This is Kate Carter.
And today we are just going to hop right into my episode. Over 850 highway-related homicides nationwide have occurred since 1980. Around 200 of them are still unsolved. The highway seems to be a particular kind of American nowhere. It's always a sketchy rest stop with flickering lights, a community space where no one knows each other and likely will never see each other again, a place where everyone passes through and almost no one remembers anyone. The interstate system connects this entire country, basically, and it means that a killer can cross dozens of jurisdictions in the time that it takes the local police to file the paperwork. Different counties, different states, different departments that don't talk to each other. A body in Arkansas, a body in California can sit for years without anyone connecting the dots. Because why would they? Killing and targeting among highways is so common that the FBI has a name for it. The Highway Serial Killing Initiative, used to describe this pattern. Hundreds of unsolved deaths clustered along interstate corridors going back decades. That is what we're going to talk about today. In 2005, if you were driving through Interstate 40 in Arkansas and you passed through the town of Morrilton, you would see a billboard with a woman's face on it with her two dogs, with big letters that read, "Do you know who murdered me?" Kristin Laurite was 25 years old and originally from Scotch Plains, New Jersey. And to say Kristin was a free spirit was an understatement. She was the cool, kind-hearted, like kind of indie hippie-ish girl. She has dreadlocks. She dressed like very earthy, beaded necklaces, very like earthbound-esque, if you will. Love that, by the way. She's adorable. Look up a picture of her. She's kind-hearted, free-spirited, all those beautiful things. You can tell that just by looking at her. On par with that, she also loves to travel. She's crossed the country numerous times and she has visited all 48 of the contiguous US states by 25. Kristin had recently gotten a job in Eureka, California at a children's daycare center. So she's making the move all the way from New Jersey to go take this job in California in August 2000. So she's driving. This is about 2,860 miles away. It's like a 42 to 43-hour car ride. Also, Kristin has a boyfriend and he's actually planning on moving in with her, but he's going to follow her down there like the next month. So she's going to be down there for like a month on her own. She's making this drive on her own and he's going to join her later. The two were scheduled to sign a lease together. But on the drive down there, Kristin's by herself, minus her two dogs, a border collie named Winter and a tan shepherd mix named Sativa. LOL.
I don't know that from anywhere.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
That's a new word I've never heard of.
Yep.
So Winter and Sativa made Kristin feel safe about doing this drive alone. And Kristin, for whatever reason, has decided to sleep during the day and drive at night. I don't know if she like prefers to drive at night. I know that like most people don't prefer to drive at night, but it's probably like a traffic situation. You know, you see truckers like doing that, like driving at night, so there's less traffic, blah, blah, blah. Kristin is driving her yellow and white Volkswagen bus, of course. Like everything's so on par with like this aesthetic. I love it. So, anyways, Kristin's really close with her mom and she's checking in a lot through the trek with her mom. So she's calling her along all of her stops. Kristin is making a lot of really exciting changes in her life, her new job, she's moving across the country, a new apartment, and a new chapter of taking the step of moving in with her boyfriend. So, Kristin has already been driving for quite a while, and all of a sudden, her bus starts overheating. So, she immediately pulls off to the rest area on Interstate 40 right outside of Morrilton, specifically mile marker 109. While she's letting her engine cool off, she also is going to take a break herself. She splashes some water on her face, she stretches her legs, and she lets Winter and Sativa out to run around. So the dogs are like running around. There's also like a nearby pond. So they're like playing in the pond. It's perfect. Kristen uses that time to check in with her mom. She calls her mom and she tells her what she's doing. She's letting her car rest and that she planned to just like chill there for a few hours and then get back on the road. She's trying to pace herself. She was getting kind of tired. We don't know what time of the day that Kristen's at this rest stop. None of the reporting says, but we do know that, like I said, she's driving at night and sleeping during the day. So I'm kind of assuming that this is nighttime, but that's just a prediction. But this would be the last time that anyone would hear from Kristen. The next day, a husband and wife trucker team noticed two dogs wandering around the rest area. They were without a leash or an owner, but they had collars on. They're kind of hanging out around this yellow Volkswagen van that had the doors open, but there's no driver in sight. After looking around for the owner, the husband and wife called the number on Winter's tag, the dog. A woman named Lynn answered, and this is Kristin Laurite's mom. Lynn immediately knew something was wrong because Kristen would never leave her dogs alone. From there, it became obvious that something was just off. The next call that the husband and wife made was straight to the police. Arkansas Highway Patrol shows up, and devastatingly, Kristen's dogs, Winter and Sativa, would lead the officers to Kristen's body, which was dumped behind the rest stop building near that pond. Kristen was nude, with her sundress tossed aside, and it was evident that she had been assaulted and that she had been stabbed at least 10 times to the neck.
Oh my God.
It was devastatingly brutal. However, shockingly, there was very little blood at the scene where her body was found. And this led investigators to believe that she had been stabbed elsewhere and then her body had been dragged down the hill towards the pond behind the rest area.
Let me just say two things. I completely agree with this case is that if you ever find my dogs on their own, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. First of all, I'm not abandoning them ever. Second of all, both of my dogs would probably not leave my body if I had been killed or something like that. But those are good doggies to bring the police to her body. That honestly makes me so sad.
I know, like they're probably just sitting around there, like what is
Yeah.
going on? They're probably so scared. And we don't know what they saw. Like, okay, anyway. So, yeah, so they're like, she has been stabbed somewhere else. There's no blood around this crime scene, or very little from what you would expect from 10 stab wounds to the neck. So they think, well, it's perfect. I mean, sorry, my language, but like, somebody in a trucker, in a semi-trucker, a traveler could use their vehicle as like a mobile crime scene and then it just drives away and they're gone. So that's what they're thinking happened here. Police also struggled to find the knife used to kill Kristen. It was nowhere to be found. So the police actually ended up draining the pond in hopes that the killer could have just tossed it in there afterwards and they could get that clue, but no luck. After an autopsy, it was apparent that Kristen had not only suffered an assault and a stabbing, but before she was stabbed, she had been beaten and strangled. At the scene, investigators uncovered cigarette butts and empty beer cans, and there were also some reports that DNA was found on Kristen, but that was not confirmed. That's just in some of the reporting, but the police had not said that, so. We do know that the DNA off the cigarette butts and the beer cans was sent to be tested to the FBI's National DNA Index system immediately. However, unfortunately, at that time there was a tremendous amount of backlogged cases nationwide, and it would take years before it could even be properly analyzed. This was not unique to Arkansas. CODIS backlogs were a national problem in this era. The number of new offender samples being collected was already outpacing labs' processing capacities. So in the meantime, police sent extra DNA samples directly to hundreds of other law enforcement offices around the country and asked them to test the DNA against their records that they had kept at that lower level. So they sent a portion to the FBI to be tested and run it in the CODIS system, which was backlogged, and then the rest of the DNA, they send it to other surrounding offices to test their local DNA to see if they have anything. Because I guess police departments probably keep their own logs too. Like, I don't know how that works, but So the family's just waiting and agonizing over the loss of their daughter and over the fear that her killer is still out there. Her family and friends raised enough money to buy billboards along I-40, which is a well-traveled highway, with her face on it and huge letters, "Do you know who murdered me?" Then it says, "Murdered August 2000 at I-40 rest stop, mile marker 109, Morrilton, Arkansas. If you have any info about Kristin Laurite, please call Conway County Sheriff's Office at," and then it lists her number and her case number. And that did work. People started calling in with tips from Arkansas and surrounding states and even New Jersey, which we know was Kristin's home. Kristin's family hoped that someone who had seen or heard something would come forward. Of course, all of the tips were followed through on. I'm sure Kristin was unaware that 3 years earlier, there had actually been a murder in the exact spot in 1997. An Arkansas trucker named Arthur Cotton was found shot in the head of the bathroom of the same I-40 rest area. Arthur was 71 and he was from Sheridan, Arkansas. And I know what you're thinking. This is a solved case. Two brothers from West Virginia were convicted of the murder. So it's not related. However, Arthur Cotton's murder changed that rest area. After that, Arkansas would end up putting some safety measures in place. They installed cameras at 19 interstate rest areas to just like deter crime and some lights. It ended up costing like over $100,000. So they're doing their best, but as usual, on the day that Kristin stopped at this rest area, the cameras were down for maintenance.
I mean, what are the odds?
Honestly, on this podcast, 100%.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Like,
It's such bullshit. It's such bullshit.
honestly, it's so insane. I don't even know if I can talk anymore about it. Like,
You're gonna tell me the one time they need the cameras to be up, they're down every single time?
yeah,
That sounds like cameras that don't work.
yeah, it sounds like these are just like a
Fake cameras.
fallacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no comment on the cameras. Honestly, we've made 50,000 comments. At this point, it's just whatever. Sheriff Mike Smith, in an interview, independently confirmed that the cameras weren't working, but said it was not sabotage. Like, nobody's sabotaging these cameras, it's maintenance. So it's going to take years to get this DNA sample back, by the way. But finally, 2 years went by before the FBI was able to get the DNA tested. And it was a match. Not to a person, but a match to DNA already found at another crime scene. So we have a killer who has killed before. The crime scene of another murder. The murder of 49-year-old Jackie Travis, murdered in California on December 7th, 2000. So actually years before the murder of Kristin. Ironically, Jackie was originally from Arkansas as well. Just FYI, Jackie was in a car accident and now had a prosthetic leg. Just so you know. She had recently moved to this town in California after a period of homelessness. Jackie Travis would unfortunately be found murdered in her apartment. She, like Kristin, had been brutally beaten, raped, and strangled. Her body was found by her former roommate. Additionally, and sickeningly, for some reason, symbols had been carved into her skin.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, like what?
That's just mutilate. Like I don't understand
Yeah.
mutilation.
Yeah. So people began to fear that there was a traveling serial killer making his way across the country. Like in Kristin's case, DNA was found at the crime scene and it was tested, but there was no suspect that matched that DNA profile. That was until Sheila Pauley. Sheila's nude body was found in late December 2000, the same year, just 2 weeks after Jackie was killed, in Modesto, California. Her body had been covered with leaves, and Sheila, like the other women, had been beaten, assaulted, and stabbed to death. Sheila was last seen in the early morning hours of December 30th in Modesto. At the time, Sheila was a homeless single mom with 3 kids, but Sheila was working hard to climb her way out of this situation. She was taking exams in Las Vegas to become a nursing assistant, a job that she hoped would change her life. She would then return home to California, where she would share custody of her kids with her former husband. And to be honest, there's not a whole lot of information about Sheila Polly's murder, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's because she was a homeless person or hopefully that's not the reason. But yeah, that's pretty much all the information that we have about her. As police began investigating this murder, witnesses told police that they had seen Sheila with a man the day that she was murdered, and this man's name was Ronald Ward. Police ran a background check on this Ronald, and they found that he had a warrant for his arrest out of Montana. A warrant for what? Oh, murder.
Oh, no big deal.
Yeah. So police are already on the hunt for Ronald Ward. So who is he? Ronald was born in Hood River, Oregon, but was raised in the area of Eugene and Springfield. Ronald's father, Ronald Sr., was horribly abusive to women and was described as a womanizer. He, just by the way, had syphilis and had given it to his wife, who he then left and divorced. Thanks a lot. Um,
Thanks.
yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Allegedly, he had 8 wives. Like, surprisingly, not at the same time, at least legally, but he has had 8 different wives. It starts to think that it's a you problem. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not. Of course it's not. What are you talking
No,
about?
no. Just it's the women, the women are just
They're
so
crazy.
crazy. They're
They're
crazy.
crazy.
They're insane. All 9 of them, 8 of them. So this was all when Ronald Jr. was a child. So he had like 8 different stepmothers, which, whatever. Ron Jr. ended up quitting the 6th grade, and at age 19, he married a woman named Donna who already had 6 children. It was said that he was actually a very kind stepfather to those children. He spent time with them and tried to take them to do things. Kind of was like the father figure for them that he didn't have. At one point, he was a football coach for 7th and 8th graders, and Ronald Jr. seemed to have been turning his life around, which had kind of gotten off to a rough start. And it's Ronald Jr. because we just talked about his father, but I'm just going to call him Ronald from here on out because I just wanted you to have that context of his childhood, but his father's not important anymore. So, yeah, he's kind of off to a rough start, but he seems like he's trying to make a better life for himself. But he ended up having some drug problems. And then, of course, he and Donna began having marital issues. Donna actually ends up deciding to move to Arkansas. I don't know what the Arkansas connections are to this case. Like, no one actually is living in Arkansas, they're just
Yeah.
passing through. So, anyways, Donna decides to move to Arkansas, and Ronald Jr. loses all connection to his stepchildren that he had kind of formed this bond to. And from there, Ronald's drug problems seem to escalate. It ends up costing him his job, and he's unable to hold down a regular job. So he resorted to kind of like these odd jobs just to get a few bucks. He's a truck driver, a home builder, a commercial fisherman, just like very odd things. After spending some time, not odd things, but you know what I mean, like odd jobs. They're not
Yeah.
odd things. Those are great jobs, need them. So, anyways, after spending time on a boat in Alaska for the fishing season, Ronald met Hattie Ann Baker in Montana in 1999. And Baker was kind of an like poor, divorced, single mom with 3 children, whose husband had just like up and left her. The couple moved to West Virginia so that Baker could be with relatives, and Ward and Baker start like dating, and Ward starts a new job driving a garbage truck. Now, the murder that Ward was originally wanted for, you remember they ran his name, the background check on him, and he was wanted for a murder. So let's talk about that murder. That was for the murder of a man named Craig Petrich. And Craig's body was found by hikers in the Sapphire Mountains. The body was hidden between rocks, and Craig had been shot 3 times in the chest and hit over the head with a large rock. Ward pleaded guilty to this killing back in October of 2000. Craig and Ronald had apparently met when Craig was selling his motorhome, and he met Ronald at the RV park in Hamilton, Montana. Ronald and Hattie were living together at that same time, and Craig had last been seen with Ronald on October 5th, 2000, before he just suddenly went missing. Ward claimed that he, Craig, and girlfriend Hattie had a night of like binge drinking, and Craig had allegedly assaulted Ward's longtime girlfriend, Hattie. Ward said that Hattie had told him, "You better kill him or I'm going to." That's like he said, she said, blah, blah,
Right.
that's take that.
Whatever.
So Ronald claimed that he was like enraged and he grabs a gun and he shoots Craig on the spot. I guess like trying to be like it was a heat of passion situation. But authorities had a completely different account and they said that it was likely that the killing was much more planned. And when I say likely, I mean it was. They say that Ronald and Craig left the RV park together in the afternoon and headed out to the Sapphire Mountains. There, the two men got into a fight, and Ronald and Craig begin to like physically fight. And Ronald ends up beating Craig with this rock and shooting him 3 times in the chest.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just a little aggressive.
yeah. Little, little aggressive. So after the killing, Ward and Hattie sold their car. They left behind everything that they owned and they fled Montana immediately. That's how they ended up in California. It was here in California where Ward met Jackie Travis and Sheila Polly, the two other victims that we just talked about. Ward was arrested 3 months later in Merced, California, in connection with Sheila Polly's murder. He was then extradited back to Montana where he was tried for Petrick's killing. At this time, they had no idea that he was connected to the Arkansas killing or the other California case. There, he was sentenced to life in prison. While he was in Montana State Prison in Deer Lodge, his DNA was taken as a part of their like prison procedure. We know that they like take the DNA of people in prison. It was entered into CODIS. When entered into CODIS, it was found to be a match to the DNA found at Kristin, Jackie, and Sheila Polly's murders. So police now know that all of these cases are connected and that he is like technically a serial killer.
Yeah.
Not technically, I mean he is.
Yes.
Yeah, and in August 2000, the Arkansas State Police announced that the DNA from all the crime scenes matched. DNA was the key to solving this crime because there's really no other clues at this crime scene of Kristin's. In 2007, Ronald Ward pleaded no contest to the murder of Kristin Laurite. When Ward pleaded, he testified in front of the court that on August 25th, 2000, he killed Kristin because he was in a rage after finding his girlfriend Hattie with another man. Like, boohoo, and you go kill someone?
Right.
After finding his girlfriend with another man, instead of like counting his losses and whatever, he takes off in his car, or I think like maybe a garbage truck at that time because he was driving a garbage truck. Actually, I think that that might be the case. I read that somewhere. So he takes off, and he takes off with like 5 jugs of moonshine, cocaine, and heroin. So he starts driving across the country like aimlessly, and it's not the first time you've killed either. So you're like, oh, this is her fault. Like, that I'm taking these drugs and I'm gonna go kill someone and I don't, yeah, whatever.
It's not.
Yeah. So anyway, so he starts driving across the country like aimlessly. That is until he stops at a rest stop in Morrilton, Arkansas, where he says he has no recollection of killing Kristin. Ronald Ward was sentenced to life in prison in Arkansas. However, he is still serving his other life sentence in Montana. So, if he ever happened to get out in Montana, he would be extradited to Arkansas to serve there, which he probably won't. Kristin's mother, Lynn, told Ward in Conway County Circuit Court when she testified, or when she was at his sentencing, likely, "It is you who will become the prey." But in April 2014, in his high security cell, Ward was found unresponsive. He was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. And very strangely, I think, authorities did not report the cause of his death, but they will say that no foul play was involved. So if there wasn't any foul, like, why can't you say?
Like we know what that means.
Like, what does that mean? I don't, like,
Right.
it's weird. It would end up that the rest area where Kristin was murdered was closed. And in the span of about 4 months, Ronald Ward crossed at least 3 states and left behind at least 4 people who would never come home. Kristin Laurite, Craig Petrick, Jackie Travis, and Sheila Polly. Four names, four families, four lives that intersected with his for some reason that none of them could have predicted or even prevented. And here's what we don't know whether that's actually the full number. Famous FBI profiler John Douglas pointed out that serial killers often blame things like drug abuse for their actions, while secretly treasuring their crimes in their minds. He pointed out that these most likely weren't Ward's only murders, as he had traveled cross country on this trip and as his time as a truck driver. Conway County Sheriff Mark Flowers said that there are similarities between Kristin's death and another 1994 murder of another woman in Morrilton, Arkansas. So I found that comment, and of course, I had to figure out what he was talking about there. Because I know a lot of murders in Arkansas and hadn't heard of this one.
Right.
And I found it in 1994. A woman's skeletal remains were found near train tracks just a few miles from where Kristin was killed. An unidentified woman was found, no ID, and it was ruled a homicide. Also a cold case. We don't know her killer, but what we do know is her killer's out there, unnamed, unknown, and uncaught. So, in my next episode, I'm going to tell you about this case. And,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
and how Arkansas may have a killer out there among us.
I just, I just got goosebumps.
Yay.
Stop it. Who are we? We're
Who
doing
are we?
two-parters.
It's like kind of a two-parter, but like I didn't mean to make a two-parter.
Right.
I'm not copying you. No, I really didn't. Like I
She
started
wants to be
I
me.
started doing this case and then I was like almost done with it. And I saw this comment where the sheriff was like, it's kind of like this, it's similar to this one murder. And I was like, what other murder? And then I started looking this one up. It's a cold case. They don't know who it is, and it's a case I've never heard of before. And it seems pretty insane. And there are some crazy updates in
Okay.
the case. So please join us next week because
Yeah.
it's very, or not next week, but my next episode.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. And I love an Arkansas case. And I love an unsolved. Don't love actually love hate and
Right.
unsolved. Hate and
Yeah.
unsolved. Love to tell it, love to get it out there, especially when it's Arkansas. So,
Love it.
till next time.
I love that you love Unsolved because you and Kylie both, because I don't. So thank you for covering those.
Because I want to solve it someday, like
I think it gives me too much anxiety knowing that it's not solved.
mhm.
And so then I go down the rabbit hole.
You're in control. You don't like an unknown.
Do I have control problems?
Baby,
Came from her mouth.
we did
Out.
nothing.
Came from
We
her mouth.
know.
Love that for you. That was a great episode.
Yo, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to jump into overtime?
Let's jump into overtime.
I feel like it's not an elephant in the room, but I feel like we need to address something that we should have probably addressed at the beginning. Kylie's not here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow.
Kylie's not here. And we usually, I feel like when we say our names at the beginning, we say like if someone's gone or whatnot.
Uh-huh. Well,
And yeah,
Kylie is taking a small break. As we all have done,
a hiatus,
a hiatus, a sabbatical, whatever you call
sabbatical.
it. She'll be out for a couple weeks. Kylie's traveling and just
She's
living.
got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
And
She's
you know what? For anybody who gets mad about this, which there won't be, but if anybody thinks about getting mad, just know not to like put down Holly and I. Kylie kind of does the most.
Kylie does the most.
And we got to give her credit for that. Our lives and our podcast would not run without Kylie.
Mhm.
We're gonna miss her for the next few weeks or however long she needs this little breaky break, but we support her. She does so much that she deserves a break. I had two maternity leaves, so fine, Kylie, you can have your time off,
And I
whatever.
had a work break. I had a really busy season of
Hey,
work. So we come and go. This
we're
is
good.
this is life. This is
She
not.
will be back.
Yeah, she'll be back. And
Yeah. If not, then we'll kill her and our podcast will
oh,
end
she'll be back.
in February.
She'll be back. But yeah, be patient with us because I'm learning the video editing and like all the things. And Kylie usually does that. She's a magician.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have to study a little bit. I tried to study this weekend, blah blah blah. Anyways, be patient with us. We know you will because you love us and
Yeah.
we love you and we
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
anyways,
We
yeah.
have anxiety, but it's fine.
Yeah. Whew.
Okay, so we had a fun little topic for overtime today that I just quickly blurted to Holly before joining, so she probably didn't have time to write a list. But if she did, let's thank the Lord that Holly didn't have time to write a list today because
Yeah, I was
hers
about to say the subject because
hers would be 10 pages.
I'm about to hit you with I'm about to spit some knowledge at you right now.
So our subject for today are irrational and rational fears of ours.
You probably want to go first.
Okay, I have a good list. So some of these are irrational fears that I have. Some of them are rational, I think.
All of mine are irrational.
Okay. No, I totally probably agree that all of yours are irrational. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one is it could be either or. Snakes coming up through the toilet. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, I'll give you a background on it, is because I live in Florida and it actually happens.
Hmm.
And when I was little, my parents took me to, I want to say Sarasota, and we were at like a family apartment condo or whatever. And we walked in, never been there before. We walked in this condo. I had to go pee, go to the bathroom. There's plastic wrap on the toilets. And I'm like, the hell is happening here? Well, I'm like 8. I'm like, what in the world is happening here? And they're like,
Like
in
the
a little
hell?
notebook, they're like, oh, we put plastic wrap on the toilets when no one's around because sometimes snakes will like go through the plumbing.
Excuse me, what?
And that right there is what triggered. I had no fear of it before.
How do
Triggered.
they get in there? How do they
Had
get that doesn't really make any sense to me. I know that
there's
you're
water snakes.
yeah.
Yeah. So now I have a fear of snakes coming up through the
Ugh,
toilet, but
I feel
specifically
it.
only when we're in Florida.
You know that I just killed a snake.
I actually don't even want to talk about it because that made me sad.
Same. It wasn't my fault. I wasn't trying to kill it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
That was
did
a sad
try
thing.
to, but it was sad. I'll move on. I'll move on.
It was a baby too.
Yeah, so you do want to talk about it.
You're a baby killer. No,
Uh,
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm
okay,
done.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Do you want me to keep going?
Um, I'll do one.
Okay.
Uh, Irrational, obviously. Throwing up. Actually, it's scary.
Mm.
I'm actually getting scared talking about it. I'm gonna knock on wood, and my dogs are gonna start barking. But
You do have that
I,
fear.
I really actually do have a fear about it. I haven't thrown up since I was a child.
Oh my
Knock
God.
knock on wood. I'm super scared of it, like panic attack level. If you're out there, you're validated. I think there's a name for what I have. Probably like
There is. There's some syndrome.
dumb, but yeah, it's like an OCD kind of thing, maybe too. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I'm super scared of it. Like it impacts my, is this a therapy session? Impacts my daily life about it. But yeah, I'm like, flying on an airplane. Oh, yeah, that's another irrational fear of mine. It's not really irrational because that kind of stuff happens is being sick on an airplane. Like you can't, there's
Nowhere to
something
go.
anxious about not being able to get off or get home or escape and you're in a public place. Like, ugh.
Okay. All right. My next my, my next one is I have an irrational fear of fish in lakes.
Tell me
So,
more.
so like so like when you're in a lake and you can't see. I think it's the part where you can't see stuff. So like I'm used to the ocean down here in Florida. where like you can see through the water.
Mhm.
But when you're in a lake and you jump in, you don't know what's right there.
Yeah.
And I don't like the idea of not being able to see what's like around me. So
Oh, yeah.
if I'm in the water and like a fish touches me, I'm done. I'm done for the day.
Oh, yeah, no, that's completely normal. I mean, it's so normal that like what's the TikTok trend that really probably bothers you is like the yo ho,
Yes.
like
I don't
that.
watch those.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
So, okay, wait, does it's things like other than fish bother you? Like if there was a shipwreck under you or like a boat under you,
Probably. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a sunken tree or some
Yep.
log.
Something under me that I can't see.
Heebie-jeebies, yeah.
Yep. Heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, well, even if you can see it and it's under you, this is gonna bother you. When I got my scuba certificate, of course,
Yeah.
there's a body of water around Arkansas that you can see through. I had to get my open water certification in a lake, and it was like
No.
sink yourself to the bottom, and there was like
Yeah.
a boat under there that had been, and so you're like feeling your way
Oh my God.
through the water, and then you just like hit this boat, and you don't see it until you like look up and you're like, oh,
Oh
wow.
my
Like,
God. No.
yeah. I don't know. I must have been a little brave that day because I couldn't do that again today.
A little brave.
Well, it's like I didn't know what I was going to encounter. I didn't know what it was like. And now looking back, I'm like, I'd never do that shit again.
Let me just say that's different than like ocean scuba.
Oh, yeah.
It's so different. I cannot believe that you even allowed yourself to do like I wouldn't do that. I'm a big water per would not do that.
Don't know what I don't know. Like looking back now, I would never have done that
Hell
again.
no.
That was horrible. But I didn't know you're like under there. What are you supposed to do? You can't even go up. I mean, you
Yeah,
can't, like.
Jesus. Okay, I will not, I have a fear of garbage disposals and I will not stick my hand down it. I will wait for someone else to be in the house to get something out of the garbage disposal. I don't really care. I also can't see what's in the garbage disposal. Maybe I have issues with not being able to see
Say
things.
the control.
It's the control.
Yeah.
Uh,
You think that that garbage disposal is out of your control, but it's in your control. It is.
what if it's not?
Tell yourself that. I mean, yeah, no, that's valid too.
Okay, now that I'm looking at my list, it's all control things. So my next one is
Had a
tsunami.
therapy session. We just had a therapy session right here.
My biggest fear of my one of my biggest fears of all time are tsunamis.
Yeah, yeah, and you can't control them.
Can't control it. How terrifying is that though? Like tsunamis, a giant thing of just what? Like I think of like not like the casual flooding, but like seeing in a distance a giant wave coming towards you. That's a huge
Well,
fear.
let me tell you why that doesn't scare me. It's because like tsunamis, you know they're gonna happen, Like you can evacuate the area. What's scarier is like a tornado that just like drops.
You
Yeah.
know. Well, so when you're in South Florida, you don't really have much place to go.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit the whole state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a tsunami could just take out Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good one that's gonna give both of us anxiety. Sending a screenshot to the person you screenshotted.
Oh, chills.
Okay, here's another good anxiety one. Accidentally going live on Instagram.
Gosh, can you imagine? And
And just like not knowing it.
at our age, you could so do that. Easy.
This reminds me of like posting something that you're not. You remember like when Snapchat first came around?
Oh yeah, and people be like, "Oh my gosh, you just posted on your story."
Along this goes along the same thing, pocket dialing someone. So
Yeah.
I recently just had a friend tell me here in Florida that her husband accidentally pocket dialed her not too long ago and he was on vacation with his family and they were talking shit about her. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope it was her ex-husband. Bye bye. I Another irrational fear of mine is like I just really am just cannot deal with medical stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
I-
like the smell of hospitals. I don't like the look of hospitals. I don't like anything about them. I hate shots. I hate just like the sterile part of it, the sterile and coldness. And
Mhm.
I mean, but needles are really what started that for me. And then like the hospital situation is just kind of like a spin-off from that. But yeah, no, I mean, like when I was a kid, I was like, And it's a good thing I didn't have access to AI to chat GPT because I would have
Oh,
faked
no.
my shot record so fast. I was always trying
Yeah.
to do that. Like I was always trying to figure out how to fake my shot record or like file for some kind of religious exemption so that I did not have
Um,
to go get my shots as a kid.
okay, here's one that I know you're gonna agree on this one. Big fear, tripping in public.
Gosh, I don't know what's wrong with my mind. I thought you meant like being high and
You know what? Honestly, that too
gosh,
for
like
you, dude.
that is scary, dude.
That's being
I
psychotic,
don't even
going
like
through a
I don't even know why I'm
psychosis.
saying that, but like I don't know why my mind went there. See what's wrong with me. I don't know.
Tripping in public. That's you if you got like drugged and you're like tripping out in public. No, I meant physically tripping.
I mean,
Stumbling.
I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't keep me up at night, but
Oh
like,
my God. If it happens to me, I'm done for the day.
yeah, no.
Actually, I would just flail. I would do like the men's soccer team, like falling all over. You know how like they jump and fall and twist and turn? That would be me if I
Really
fell.
embarrass me. Honestly, if I go down, I'm staying down. Like I'm gonna
Right.
get the most attention possible out of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I have two more left. So, another irrational one probably is accidentally waving at someone who's not waving to you.
I feel like these are not real fears.
What?
Like, are you actually scared of this?
Oh my God, I'm absolutely petrified. If
You
someone's waving and you think they're waving at you and you wave
like you
back,
wake up in a cold sweat over this or what?
yes, yes, yes. Holly, this is called massive anxiety. I am medicated, okay?
Are
And
you?
shit,
Because
this shit scares me. I need to up it, babe. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah, I know, yeah, you actually should. This
I
is
literally think about the times in my life. I've had three. I can count them on my hand. Three times I can remember where someone was waving and I thought they were waving to me and I waved back and they weren't. And I'm like, because like if I and they
yeah.
weren't.
Mm-hmm.
I left wherever I was. Like I was like, that's a donesie for me. I'm done. I'm out. And then I think about it for days.
Yeah. I used to be mine, honestly, mine are seeming more and more valid. I used to be scared of I still kind of am, to be honest. I really don't like flying. I'm scared of airplane crashes.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
mean, your husband.
Yeah.
Those are the most common planes to crash.
Okay.
Have you ever parachuted?
No, but
Oh, it's so
catch my
much fun.
ass floating down. If there's a slight inconvenience
Yeah.
in the plane, I'm gonna be jumping off. And I'm scared of that too. Looks like you should try to get your like just your pilot's license. So if something happened, you could land the plane. I'm like, if honestly, if there's anything slightly wrong, I'm
You
gonna
would
jump out. I'm
you would
going to
try to,
jump
yeah.
out. And I mean
Par-
it too.
Parachute or not.
Yeah, I used to be scared of elevators. I would like to let everyone know I conquered that fear. I'm not scared anymore.
Elevators.
I mean, 20th floor, I'm walking. That's how I used to be.
Really? I'm
Mhm.
escalators. Okay, I have one last, and this one's totally irrational, but it's always been this way for me. I actually have a fear of mascots. I don't know what it is. I'm not okay with them. I don't like people, not just mascots, even like if you're a fucking fury, whatever their names are, like
Fury.
I do not like people that are inside mascot suits. It's not okay.
It's not okay.
Not
First
okay.
of all, it's not okay. But
It's
uh,
irrational. I get
I'm
it.
trying to stay with you here. I mean, I'm not scared of, I mean,
You
okay.
don't know who they are. You don't know what face they're making.
But Kate, like worst case scenario, like who could it be under there? Like who
Creeper.
could
A
a creep?
creeper.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like if I was a mascot,
But like, okay, let's just
if
be
I
like,
was a mascot, I would
I'm
totally
gonna
be
help you
like,
through this. Like, what is the difference in seeing a person that you don't know and a mascot? They
at
both
least
be
I know who it
creepy.
is. Yeah, but you don't know what they look like under the mascot.
Okay.
And what if they're creepy? And what if they're doing creepy things
Chances
and
are
making
they are.
faces? They probably are. I just don't like it. You know what? It is what it is. You can't do anything.
Yeah, I'm a sympathetic person, so I'm gonna let you have those. Although I do think that I feel a little bit better about mine now. All right. Well, guys, I'm
I
gonna need to
I need
go.
I need some sativa.
Yeah, I've gotta leave.
I
Goodbye.
got, maybe I'll do a vodka shot.
Wow, this was like, oh,
It actually didn't end on a feeling good note today.
yeah.
Now I actually need to have a higher prescription. I'm
If
gonna
you've
call
made
a
it,
psychiatrist.
yeah, you might schedule something, honestly. If you've made it this far, thank you.
We're sorry.
Yeah. This episode's not sponsored by BetterHelp, but it should be. Hello. Hello.
Help us.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next week if you will have us, because that was crazy. Like us, follow us, share our episode, all the things, and we'll see you next week for Kate's episode. Okay. Bye.